So let's talk about the difference between criticism and feedback. Giving feedback is, again, one very important ability for a leader. Why? Because, as I said before, the purpose of a leader is to develop human potential. And but let's clarify the difference between criticizing and giving feedback. You see, criticizing is done with the intention of, I'm going to let you know what I don't like, period. Now, when we do this, we're not really helping the person because all we're saying is, this is what I don't like. Now, how about giving feedback? And feedback is a process that contains certain elements. Number one, an intention. The intention of giving feedback is to be able to guide that person or to show that person, number one, what we don't like. Number two, what they're doing well. And number three, an example of how we would like to see that change made. Because feedback ultimately is very personal. I don't know how many of you have been to an event and two or three people could come up with different ways of looking at the event. One could say this is a great event. The other one says, I didn't like the way the main actor participated. And the other one could say, oh, this is a very mediocre presentation. So feedback, let's remember, feedback is very, very, very individual. And so let's look at the process. Again, number one, tell the person what they are doing well, what you like about it, whatever they're doing or their behavior. Number two, give an example, a specific example of what you see that you particularly dislike, if that's the word that you want to use. And number three, encourage that person to make the change and give trust that that person has the ability to make the change. So for example, and I'm going to give an example in a organization. Let's say Mary is been coming to meetings late for the last 3 Fridays, and she's coming at 9:30 instead of 9 as it was agreed. So criticizing could be something like, Mary, you're always coming late. I'm very upset. I think you need to change. Criticizing, there's no feedback on what the person does well or what you liked about that person. There is not a specifics about what needs to be changed, and there is no trust. There's no conversation or encouragement as to why that person can't make the change. So let me go back and give the example in a different way, as feedback, as positive feedback. Mary, I know that you are a person who's always on time for the projects. You are a very responsible person, and I appreciate that. For the last 3 Fridays, you've been coming late at 9:30 instead of 9 as we have agreed. Is there something wrong? What is happening? Could we have a conversation about that? I would like to see you coming at 9 because when you come at 9:30, it is disturbing the dynamics of the whole group. I know that when we have a conversation, we could come up with an arrangement, and please let me know how we can do this. What do you have to say? Okay, now feedback. We talked about what I liked about the person. I gave specifics of what needs to be changed, and I encouraged that person to have a dialogue, to have a conversation, so we could both come up with an agreement. This is what feedback, valuable feedback, is really represents. And again, feedback is a gift that we give to people, because if we never explain what we dislike and give an example of what it would look good or what we would appreciate, that person will never find out.